You're listening to the Gameday Tarps podcast with your hosts, Ryley, Dakota, Dallas, Daeden, Colton, and Wilbs.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 54 of the Gameday Tarps podcast. Today, we are going over just a couple topics, try to keep it short. We're going over some recent NCAA free agent signings or NHL teams that have signed their draft picks from the NCAA and some CHL guys as well. We're going over what we think is going to happen in the upcoming NHL free agency in terms of UFAs and RFAs. If you wouldn't mind, please liking this video. That would be awesome. Subscribe to the channel and follow us on social media. But without further ado, gents, let's get into some young guys finally making it to the NHL with some teams need these guys. Some teams these guys are going to bolster, and some we're just going to have to find out kind of how they do to start out in the NHL. So start with whoever you want, but we can go through the list of guys we got here.
I think the most exciting prospect is obviously Ryan Leonard. I think he's the one that everybody was kind of waiting for and really wanted to sign with Washington. Obviously, the 2 World Junior gold medals, the MVPs, I don't know how well he did this year. If he led the NCAA in points, I'm pretty sure he was one of the top guys. But still, an unreal pick, and somebody that obviously can help Washington here in the stretch of things as they kind of get ready for the playoffs.
They literally just added like a mini Tom Wilson just before playoffs. What a crazy addition. That's so good for them.
Well, not even just a Tom Wilson, but a Tom Wilson that can score and has amazing hands and amazing vision on the ice. Mm-hmm. So I would say a Tom Wilson plus.
Well, now I would all for knocking Tom Wilson, but he hit his first 30-goal season this year. So the guy's potting goals. He's actually really good. He's fighting less. He's scoring more. But I see what you're saying. I know, over his career, this starting out of the gates, this is an immediate better player than what Wilson was coming in the league.
Yeah. I think somebody that kind of excites me, Jimmy Snuggerud, going to St. Louis. I watched him in Halifax, the World Juniors. He was an electric player. He has a crazy shot. His snapshot is one of the best shots in college right now, and going to St. Louis, who's kind of fighting for that last 2 playoff spots in the West, it might help them, and it might help them a lot here because they've got guys like Holloway, Broberg, who they got mid-season from Edmonton. That really helped them. So who knows? Maybe they'll go on a run here, and Snuggerud could be a good piece for that.
They've won their last 7 or 8 games too, St. Louis.
Yeah, 8-game win streak.
Yeah, adding Snug is a huge addition for them, and I mean, you just go to his point totals throughout the last couple of years, and even just go back to the World Juniors. I know, the World Juniors is not something that a lot of scouts put a lot of promise into because it's a small sample size, and I don't really know how to word it, but I think it's still important, though, in that aspect that he can dominate among the best players and et cetera, et cetera. So, he's going to be fun. I'm excited for him, man. Snuggerud's a guy that I've really liked for the last few years for the U.S. national team, and he'll be fun. He'll be a good addition to that Blues team.
One thing that I'm interested in is Gabe Perreault, because the Rangers are on such a downturn, right? He's going to have a hard time. So many fans are going to be like, oh, Gabe Perreault's going to come in and turn our season around. But they're going to forget that he's a kid just out of college. The job of that is on JT Miller. It's on Zibanejad, Panarin. This is not on Gabe Perreault to turn this team around. But unfortunately, those expectations in New York, everyone's going to overhype this kid from what they've seen. And somehow he's supposed to drag them into the playoffs. I still don't think New York's making it, but I hope that they don't put too much on this kid because I think he can be good, but he's not going to score 30 goals in the last 10 games. He's not going to change them that much. He might get 4 or 5, but I don't see anything groundbreaking from him.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say that he relies, but most of that success that Perreault and Leonard have both had has came together. They've played together for the last 4 or 5 years with the national team development program, then through the ranks into college with Boston College, and then the last 2 World Junior tournaments they dominated together on the top line for the states. These guys are like crazy when they're together, but it'll be interesting to see how they do building new chemistry with new line mates too.
Well, I think with Perot too, I'm just looking at something here. So they don't have him updated yet because he hasn't skated yet. So I just was curious if Daily Faceoff had the line combos. But if you look at the line combinations, like Perot's a guy that you could slot like second line with JT Miller and Alexis Lafreniere, sorry. I think that'd be good. But I mean, what does New York do with their kids? Just shove them down to the fourth line and let them rot. So, I mean, the fourth line right now is Brett Berard, Sam Carrick, and Abe Kubel. So, goodbye, Abe Kubel, and I'm sure that's where Perot steps in. But fuck, I say give the kid some minutes. Let him play that top. Let him play the top six. Let him play the second line with Cooley, or not with Cooley. Like take Cooley's spot. Like I don't know. Let the kid have some fun in the last 10 games.
And actually, this is not related to our topic, but can we just talk about how well that's working for Matvey Michkov? Torts is gone. Michkov has led the Flyers in minutes played the last 2 games, or at least their forwards, if I read it wrong. And he put up 3 points and 3 points, 3 points and 2 points in 2 games, like 5 points. He was like a +4. He led the team in shots. Like, I know that Torts had a style, and eventually his timer runs out, which it did. But I would say his timer ran out like last year. Trying to force Michkov to come into a situation with Tortorella was never ideal. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
I think the next guy I'm kind of more interested in, and it's not really a right now thing. It's definitely a long-term one. But it's Matthew Wood coming into Nashville on a 3-year ELC from Minnesota, a guy that we were talking about before, UConn, not the province, but the college. And, I think he's going to do amazing.
He's a fun player. I think it hurt him quite a lot this year not to make that World Junior team. Obviously, he made last year's World Junior team, and then not to make this year's team, I think kind of, I don't know, maybe it rubbed him the wrong way. He seemed to kind of have a bit of an explosive latter half of his college season here. And he's a guy that, he's what, 6'3", 210 pounds, 211 pounds, I think it was, I saw. And that's a guy that fits that style of Nashville hockey just in his size and strength alone, right? But yeah, a guy that definitely has taken the longer route to get to where he is. It's been, he's been through the grind. He was a kid who was drafted by Regina, could have gone and played with Bedard, but he opted to go to UConn and played out his college. And here he goes. He finally signs his ELC and first round pick, and good Canadian boy. So good luck to him. Chicago has.
Oh yeah, I was going to say
Chicago's got Oliver Moore and Sam Rinzel, which is awesome. Rinzel's going to be incredible for them. He is so good, he's such a good mobile defenseman for his size. And then Oliver Moore is quite literally just an F1 car out there. Like, dude's got the speed of sound when he skates, like faster than McDavid, faster than Natchez. Like, it's going to be fun to watch him out there. And right now, Daily Faceoff's line combinations have him set on the third line with Veleno and Nick Foligno, which is a line, but hell, it's going to be fun to watch him and Connor Bedard, like just to see a bit of speed and skill with Bedard next to him. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm disappointed because Chicago's out, and you look at what San Jose did 30 games ago. They put Smith, Celebrini, Eklund together, and they just said go figure it out for the last 30 games of the year. Right? They find, so I said a while ago, why don't they bring Korchinski back up? Korchinski's a good friend of Bedard's. Let's bring some fun into this kid's life. Right? So finally they brought Korchinski back up. But they need to give him just young line mates who he can just play with. It needs to be Moore and Nazar. That's who it needs to be. That's just who his wingers need to be, and they just need to leave it alone and let those kids be a minus 50 if they're a minus 50. Let them be a +2 if they're a +2. Like whatever it's going to be, just let them play hockey. The team's done. They're out. What are they fighting for?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, their coach is going to get fired. Like, there's nothing to play for there right now. But you look at San Jose's top 6. Like, it's Celebrini, Toffoli, and Cameron Lund. Lund has 2 goals in his first 3 NHL games because he's playing top line minutes with Selly and Toffoli. Then you got Eklund, Wenberg, and Smith on your second line. Like,
exactly.
That's what Chicago needs to do. Exactly that. Like what Ryley said. Like, let the kids play it out. Put Bedard, Moore, and Nazar together, and let them just have some fun.
And if you want to put Foligno with Bedard and Moore, sure, fair enough. Like you want your captain with those guys, whatever, go for it. But like, don't put Oliver Moore third line. Maybe for his first game, sure, right?
Yeah, for the first game.
Yeah. Warm them up into it. Don't just throw them into the fire. But like after that, give the kid the reins off.
Yeah, Ryan Donato and Ilya Mikheyev are your first liners with Bedard. I'm sure Oliver Moore, Frank Nazar can fulfill that role too, right?
Yes.
Another player, obviously, to kind of look at is Ryan Chesley. That's a guy that Washington signs as well. They signed a defenseman, kid he played for Minnesota. Just another addition for Washington, which is pretty big for them, obviously, right now. They arguably got to be the favorites. I mean, not the favorites for the cup, but they got to be a team that some people are looking at, though, right? Like everybody's bought into that team. Everyone's bought in for Ovi. I don't think he's got 5 goals left to be, and he makes history. I don't think the team just slows down after that. This team seems like it's ready to go for the Stanley Cup. So,
how about have you seen their little their Banzamaker dance in the hallway?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Chikrin changed it to his goal song last game. He scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That's their song, and then he just goes crazy the next game.
That's a team that's just having fun right now, right? Like, I don't know, but yeah, shine some light on Ryan Chesley there. Another guy that's played with the U.S. World Junior team, really solid, mobile 2-way defenseman. So that's fun. That's fun. And then Tampa, your team. Yeah. They signed Connor Kurth out of Minnesota as well. Obviously, Minnesota is just getting depleted right now. They lost Matthew Wood and lose everybody else here because, I mean, everybody's going pro, right? So they lost Rinzel, they lost Moore. So that team is getting annexed right now. But, hey, that's what happens sometimes with these programs, right? You hang on to these guys for a few years, and then once time comes to go pro, you don't turn down that money.
And just like that, the general manager or program manager at Minnesota goes, "Hey, Gavin McKenna, we have a first-line center spot wide open for you.
There you go.
Pick 5 of your buddies. I'll call them. We'll get them in the top 6."
Well, I mean,
$100,000 NIL money.
Well, he's already losing Lidstrom.
Yeah, exactly. Lidstrom's going to Wisconsin. Is that it?
No.
Michigan State?
Yeah.
Ohio. He's not going to Ohio State.
Michigan State. Michigan State.
Yeah, Michigan State.
Which, Dakota and I talked about that last pod, but we'll just talk about it again briefly. Is that something that you're going to see more players do this, but is that something that a player of his caliber, who's a 4th overall pick, who just missed an entire season of hockey, should be doing? You're going to thrust him back into. He's going to thrust himself, unless this is Columbus's decision, which it kind of seems like it's more of a Columbus influence. But you're talking about a kid who didn't play at all this year, has not played since April 24th, 2024.
Yeah,
but you're going to go play him in NCAA hockey against kids who are 20 to 24 years old. And he's coming off back surgery. All the props to him, and I wish him the best of luck, but that's a gamble, man.
Maybe here's a side thought. Maybe he's worried about this back injury and he wants to get education. Well, it's paid for. Maybe he's really worried about it from a career standpoint, and he's not necessarily voicing it that loud, but saying, "Hey, I can go to get a degree or start a degree, and then, kind of, if I get signed, then we can go this route. But he's, just a little bit of a backup plan, because back injuries are so risky. You just know, like, look at Ryan Ellis, right? Ryan Ellis went from like top 10 defenseman in terms of defensive defenseman, and all of a sudden 2 years later he was gone.
Yeah.
Got traded to Philly and then never even played. Like, he did,
Yeah,
obviously, but it was very minimal.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's how it is. Who knows? But
Did we say he was going to Michigan State?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's Ohio State, isn't it?
No, he's not going to Ohio State. Yeah,
I thought we said the other day it was Ohio State.
It was. Yeah, he just changed it.
Oh, he switched.
Yeah, Columbus wanted him to go to Ohio State so they could monitor him, but he picked Michigan State.
So would I.
Yeah, makes sense to me too. A couple of the undrafted kids got signed. Jack Williams to Columbus, Noah Beck to San Jose, Gleb Vermiev to the Islanders, Scott Harrison to Dallas, Carfagni to Edmonton. So we don't really know these guys too much, but they were on the list of top undrafted free agents. So good for those guys. Oh, Carson Dort too, to Philly. So, and then cool story, I guess we can talk about Taylor McCarr signing his 1-year entry-level deal with Colorado. That's pretty cool for the McCarr family. And Maine. Can we talk about Maine real quick? That team was fun.
Please, let's talk about the Black Bears.
Yeah, what a run they went on from a team. 10 years ago they didn't even have a Div 1 team?
Yeah, they weren't Div 1.
Yeah, like crazy. The amount that they've turned this program around.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. They had Jeremy Swayman, and he led them to a pretty deep playoff run, but they didn't make it to regionals or anything like that. And after that, they had a couple guys. I don't know if you guys know who Edwards Tralmax is. He was in Boston. He's somewhere else now. But anyways, he led them to a pretty deep playoff run a couple years ago alongside Pat Shea. He's a YouTuber, and a couple other guys. But yeah, now the Maine's on the spot now. Maine hockey's back up where it should be, and they won a national championship. What?
Clean unis, I said. Their team, just beauty.
Oh yeah, somebody's audio is going crazy right now.
I heard that too.
But no, yeah, Maine does have some of the cleanest unis in hockey. The blue on blue with the white, with the cursive lettering, not bad.
Yeah.
And Bradley Nadeau, his brother Josh, he's a stud. He's gonna go probably, I wouldn't say first round, but probably high second round if he ever gets drafted.
Yeah, true. Dak, I got one for you, obviously. We got Jacob Battaglia, 3 years with the Flames, coming out of the CHL. What are your thoughts on that one?
I think it could just be teams trying to, because Battaglia probably could have been one of those guys that went college route as well, but now signing ELCs, you kind of put teams on the spot on who to sign at the right time, I guess.
Yeah.
So he's lighting up points wise for Kingston this year. So it's a good signing, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it could just potentially be the GM just looking at it as, okay, well, I don't want to lose this kid to college and not be able to sign him for 2 to 3 more years, right?
Fair enough. Same thing probably with Charlie Ehrlich, you think, Colton? Oh, you're muted, Colton.
Yeah,
Same thing with
No, I think they like him. They like him a lot. That's kind of the big reason why he moved on from Brandon, was they just wanted him to develop a bit more in a system that he could grow more with. He, like I said, stated when we did our trade deadline talk there, he He was a guy that just played a really physical throwback style of hockey. It's what he does. You watch him play, and he will throw his body around, and he'll block shots, and just kind of that old school mentality. And Columbus loves that in him. You know, it's another David Savard. It's another good Branson. It's one of those style of players with some offensive flair. So, I mean, good for him to get his ELC. It took him a little bit, but good for him.
Yeah.
Him and Lidstrom are same draft, are they not?
Yeah. Alec is a third or second rounder, though. So
Bedard's draft, 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Lindstrom
No.
was
the year after.
Lindstrom was 2024.
Was it 24?
That was last year.
That's right. Yeah, he just happened. Yeah. Duh.
But yeah, not bad signings.
No. Should we jump into our hypothetical free agency where we think some NHLers are going to end up, UFAs, RFAs, and kind of, let's be a little brutal here. If someone's just off their rocker, let's give them a hard time. If we agree with them, let's go with it here. Let's see what we got. I can start it off if you want. Maybe one that people might not be thinking of. I got John Tavares to the Utah Hockey Club, Utah Mammoth, next year.
Mammoth.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, it's different. It's weird to think about.
My thought is, since Shane Doan, and obviously we're not talking about taking the captaincy away from Clayton Keller or anything, but since Shane Doan, this team has been missing a veteran leader. It's been extremely young. It's been a time of, they haven't had good teams. They haven't had good ownership. They've had such a rough go. They finally have good ownership group. They have picked Keller as their captain, which is totally fine, but they need a John Tavares type guy to come in there and be a second line center and just kind of help right the ship. Even though he's never won much in the playoffs, right? He's won like 4 playoff rounds his whole career. It's not about the playoffs. It's about getting these guys through 82 games and growing this team towards the playoffs. So I like Tavares to Utah. If they pay, like, they're going to have to pay him at least $8 million, probably for 5 years at least, right? Stamkos got the 8x4. I would imagine Tavares, who's 1 year younger, either goes 8x4 or 8x5, wherever he goes at least. If he asks for more, then maybe he gets more. But, they're going to have to pay for him. But to not go to a contender, but you never know. I think Utah's a good fit for Johnny T.
I think that's fair. I had him going to Montreal. So
Okay, well, here, let me flip everything here. I'm going to go to Toronto, but I'm not going to take John Tavares. I'm going to take the other guy who's been having contract negotiations all year long, Mitch Marner. And I'm going to send him to the Montreal Canadiens.
Okay.
Possibly in exchange for a couple draft picks, a guy like a Kirby Doc or like a David Reinbacher, a big right-hand shot defenseman, something that the Leafs have always desperately wanted and have still been searching for.
You think trade instead of
Hey, Daeden, I'm going to be honest. I don't think you're going to have to go the trade route, dude.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up a free agent July 1st.
Toronto doesn't have the money to keep him, and he's not going to be RFA.
That's true.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going to.
If they do a sign and trade, I see where you're coming from, but I don't know what team at the draft would do a sign and trade.
No, they wouldn't do it. The sign and trade would be stupid. That's just too much on the table for it.
Yeah, but I like where your head's at.
Montreal. But you know what? Like, Montreal, not a bad one, because at least I feel like with Marner, at least going to Montreal, he would be looking at potential playoffs, right? I've seen a lot of stuff about Marner linking up with Bedard in Chicago.
Yeah.
Cool idea, but I feel like Marner's at the point in his career where does he want to be stuck on a rebuild team?
Yeah,
there's already talks about Bedard not even signing past his ELC.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I think that's fair.
I don't see Marner going to Chicago. Now, I'm going to be biased and say Calgary would be a great fit for him too. But does he go to a Canadian market? I think he's thinking playoffs in probably American market.
Here's my thought on him. He is done with hockey media. Toronto ruins guys. That's why I have him going to the Carolina Hurricanes. It is quiet. They're a good team. They have money to spend, away from the media, warm all the time, just easygoing, which I think a guy like Marner needs, because we've seen it. We've seen that Marner is the hero and then he's the villain. And maybe, I know I'm one of the most harsh guys on him, but I still believe that since Four Nations, he's arguably one of the best forwards in the NHL since that tournament ended. So, you don't think so? Since
I think
since
Nick
it ended?
Suzuki's better, but yeah.
I said one of the best. He's not better than like McDavid, Draisaitl, Kucherov, McKinnon.
Who?
One of the best.
Who are
Yeah.
those guys?
You know what
I
I
think
mean?
it's fair though.
Why would he go, no offense to Calgary, why would he go to Calgary? The media is still pretty intense there. Why would he go to Montreal where he has to learn French and it's even
He doesn't
harsher?
have
And he doesn't have to. Suzuki didn't.
You're right. You don't have to, but
Buddy, Suzuki doesn't speak a lick of French. None of those guys on that team speak a lick of French except for Montembeault, Matheson, and Carrier, and the other couple French guys.
yeah.
Okay, so not a single guy on that team, but 4 guys you just named. Gotcha. Nice.
Okay,
Exactly. That's what he's saying.
you got where I'm coming from.
What about Nick Ehlers? Because I think
well,
he's
We'll
gonna
take him too.
He stays.
Yeah, I think
Wheeler stays.
Yeah, that's fair. It'd be hard to see him anywhere but Winnipeg, but yeah, I think if anything, I could see him in Utah if Utah is just going to start throwing the bag at players.
Yeah.
Yeah, but isn't Ehlers good buddies with Patrick Laine?
Yeah. Yes, Danish. Nah, well, he's Danish. He's Finnish. I guess that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't
They
matter;
don't-
they could be friends.
Well, I thought there would be a connection, but then I was just like,
Oh.
wow, they just played together in Winnipeg.
But no, I mean, my thought is, here's the thing: of all the guys, of all the players that have contracts expiring and are doing well this year, Nikolai Ehlers has talked about the least. It doesn't seem like there's a commotion in Winnipeg. It doesn't seem like anyone's upset. It doesn't seem like there's a problem. It just seems like they'll get to it when they get to it, basically, is what they're doing.
Because the city can depend and rely on a guy like Kevin Cheveldayoff. Like, he gets shit done, right? I think that's the one thing that he has he's continuously done since he took over that team in 2011 is he gets shit done. Shifley's still there. Morrissey's still there. Helly's still there. You got guys like Connor Hellebuck, who's the best fucking goalie in the world, living in Winnipeg.
Yeah, and major talks before they signed their extension that he was going to go elsewhere.
Yeah, he was
like those talks were heating up, and then they got.
And then they get them both, right? So I think that's why there's no panic. Is people believe that Chevy will get the deal done. He'll give Ehlers 8.8 or 9 million or whatever he wants if they can afford it. Of course, I don't exactly know Winnipeg's cap problem or cap situation, but honestly, I don't think he's going anywhere other than I think he goes to Utah just because they can throw money at him. But I don't see him leaving Winnipeg for any other team though.
Yeah. And I guess one thing too, sorry, Dave, just before we go, this is quick, is just that Winnipeg compared to Denmark, very similar. He's not an American coming from California. He's not a guy coming from Minnesota, right? These big cities. He's coming from a smaller country. He's in an area that's kind of similar to the country he's from. It's not. Well, it's wintry
People in
there.
Denmark are offended right now. You're comparing.
It's not as warm. It's a cold country. It's a cold Scandinavian country. I think that's a fair assessment that he doesn't feel like he needs to live in Vegas or Miami or
that's
he's
a team though. Vegas would be a team that makes sense if they can afford it.
Vegas is always just we're in the ring.
Okay, I want to go to one player though because he's local to 3 of us. well, not local, but the team is, I guess. But Brock Besser, what do you think happens there?
Yep.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
He
Yeah,
goes
who's
home.
that? Yeah, I'm gonna say Minnesota too. That was simple. Okay,
But I want to add
RFAs.
to Minnesota.
Hold up.
That I also think they're going to get Pionk from Winnipeg. I just feel like he's a good second pair D that they can bring in behind Faber.
They
And
have,
I think that will help.
Don't they have like Yurchek or something?
if
They
I'm not
do, but he's
they
up
do.
and down.
And if I'm not mistaken, they drafted his brother Aaron. Minnesota did. So they'd
I don't
have
know.
Neil and Aaron.
No,
Pionk.
I'm fairly certain Columbus has a Eurocheck. Do they
Oh,
not?
okay. Never.
Oh no, he was traded.
Columbus
He was traded to Minnesota.
Oh,
They got a
Yeah.
first or something out of it. That's why Columbus has Minnesota's first this year. Made no
Yeah.
sense.
David
okay, wait.
Yurchek got traded there. Yeah.
I want to talk about an RFA. Can we
Oh,
talk
go
about
for
Evan Bouchard? Because what's he gonna do?
I have a strong feeling he's going to stay in Edmonton.
Yeah, me too.
I don't
They
see
can
him
afford him.
going anywhere else. Like I know, like maybe right now they can afford him, but I just have a hard time seeing him go anywhere but Edmonton.
I think Edmonton's gonna they're not gonna re-sign Jeff Skinner. So that's $5 million or whatever the fuck they paid him. They have that now free. $3 million. There you go. So they got that. They got $3 million freed up right there. I like. What do they do with Evander Kane? Like
Let him
is
go.
he ever gonna fucking play again? Like nobody seems to know, right? So I don't know. But that was my thing. My hot take is Bouchard's gonna stay.
Can I give my honest take?
Hold up.
Go
I
ahead.
have one more
Say
hot
yours.
take.
Say yours.
Evan Bouchard for Noah Dobson straight up.
Done deal.
no.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Except for the Islanders wouldn't take that. I don't think. I think
Probably
Bouchard.
would, though.
No, Bouchard has dropped his value so much since the Stanley Cup final. It's not even funny. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say he's lost himself $6 million this offseason in his play.
Yeah, somebody was saying that somebody from Oilers, an Oilers person was saying that if a reporter was saying they had heard that the contract talks were around the 8 million AEV mark now, which is insane because before they were talking about 11 to 14 million for him, in the summer. So now that's already below 8. I wouldn't even pay him. I'd pay him 8 maximum, but if my team paid over 8 million, I'd be fucking absurd if I was a fan.
I'd pay him 6. You just can't.
Yeah.
He's actually a 0% defensive, total liability, and you can't have him and Nurse eating up $15+ million of your cap hit, and being as bad as both of them are.
Well, Darnell Nurse has been better though this year.
Hold on though, because
5?
isn't McDavid's contract up this year?
No, it's his extension year.
Draisaitl
was going to be a free agent. They extended him last year. McDavid is up next year. He's extendable this year.
They're not gonna fuck that up. They won't fuck that up.
Yeah. So do they even bother signing Bouchard?
From what I had heard was whatever McDavid comes to Jeff Jackson with, they're signing him. It could be he could take 20% of the fucking cap on his next contract and take 20 million, and they'd go, here's your check. Here you go, Connor. From what I've heard, Edmonton's willing to sacrifice $20 million a season for him because that's how much they value him in dry.
Yeah, but Colton, you've also heard that Stank Open wasn't going anywhere, and look where that got you.
Yeah, but that fucking pissed me off, man.
But I like where you're saying, because Colton, if Austin Matthews is making $14 million a year, what does Connor McDavid make?
15,
he should make $20 million a year.
I think he's at least 17.
17
I
minimum.
think 17
minimum.
You know how we came and we were making fun of Matthew saying, 14 is the team discount? No, McDavid at 17 actually is a team discount.
Yes.
That is a team-friendly deal.
Yeah, because from what I'd heard from people talking at the rink and stuff was through scouts and stuff, he could take fucking north of $20 million if he wanted to. He could obliterate that cap and take over 20% of it if he wants just himself, but he's not going to. He's not a selfish person. So he's going to take his number and take what he gets, which is whatever it'll be, $17.97 or whatever $1 million, and he can run away with that. But like anybody that thinks he's leaving does not understand the ownership in Edmonton. Like, they'll buy players out in contracts before they let McDavid walk. So
marketing alone, number one sold jersey almost every year in the NHL has been him. Like he's marketing, every week the Edmonton Oilers logo is on a highlight reel package because he's in it.
Because of him.
Yeah. He is all over. He's in every commercial. He's in the BetMGM commercials. He's the face of the NHL. And now that's where I want to come from, because like we all talk about how compared to other sports, NHL players don't make as much money. Like, this sucks for the Edmonton Oilers, but does he have a responsibility to raise the pay here for the whole NHL? Like, as the best player in the world, does he have a responsibility to just say, look,
well, if he
we got to bring the individual player cap up here? And
because if they don't, like we were talking about earlier, he's got to keep taking team-friendly deals, which he probably won't want to do for the rest of his life. And if he doesn't do that, say he takes the 20, 22 mil, whatever they offer, the rest of the team, they don't have anything they offer. Like, what are they going to do with the rest of their cap? They have no team. Their bottom six is AHL guys.
And it is going to suck, but at the same time, it's like, if McDavid takes 15, how far back does that put hockey in the actual grand scheme of paying their players? That's 8 years where McDavid's only at 15. Now, nobody else in the league should make as much as him for the rest of that contract, right? Not even Bedard, not anyone, right? He's just been that dominant. So,
really, the only person you could really argue is Crosby, but
but he's already nine. Yeah, he got his 8.
But look how many discounts Crosby took.
Yeah, every year, every single
year.
time.
Like, Crosby's a player that should be making $14 million a year, even at his age. But he makes what, 8.87?
8 point, yeah.
I think it's just 8.7.
This is 8.7, yeah. But still. But if you look at that though, has Crosby, being as unselfish as he is, been really good for the Pittsburgh Penguins, but really bad for hockey?
Yes.
Because now the rest of the league and the owners go, oh, look at Sidney Crosby. You're not better than Crosby.
But
right? So it's kept guys only a little bit above Crosby, when, Panarin should be at 12 instead of 10. And Kucherov is at 9 something and should be at 12, right? You know what I mean?
Who's going to get the bag?
McKinnon should be at 16 already,
But the thing is, though, McDavid makes that stupid amount of money. He won't have a team. Crosby's had a team at his discounts. Yeah. Not enough to build your team, though.
In 3 years,
not enough to build the team, but enough that the ELC signing will go from 850 minimum to 1.25, which is pretty good, or 1.025. Sorry, but still, it's good for a minimum.
Yeah, but Crosby taking his 8.7 has gotten him the cups that he has today.
Yeah, 100%. That's 100%.
As where McDavid's going to take the 15, 17 stupid amount of million money, and they're going to have him and Draisaitl.
Yeah, but you got to also
if your cap is if your cap's 110, right? Or whatever I can't remember what
that's
the cap's
30 million more.
So if you pay
their whole first line is going to be a stupid amount of money. Draisaitl,
it's
McDavid,
Toronto all over.
Bouchard, Nurse,
Hyman's 5. Hyman is a big steal, luckily.
I mean, 5 mil's not bad. That's not gonna.
No,
that probably doesn't hurt them too much. But Nurse hurts them. Bouchard's gonna hurt them.
Here's my thing. If I'm Connor McDavid, you have to take winning out of the a little bit out of it, because you also have to look at the team. What do the Edmonton Oilers have that if he takes a discount, that they're going to win? Their goaltender is Stuart Skinner. Things haven't changed in that perspective. Their highest paid defenseman is Darnell Nurse, when everyone else that makes $9 million other than Seth Jones is one of the best in the world. And Darnell Nurse is top 30, right?
Yeah.
He's not even top 20. So and he makes 9.25. Now we're going to potentially pay Bouchard 8, and he's fallen outside of the top 15. So you have to look at your team landscape over your next contract, and you have to just be brutally honest and be like, can this team actually win the Stanley Cup? They have no draft picks, no prospects, declining goaltending, declining defense, no bottom six forward group, and they already have no money. So, like, to me, he's got to look at what's the best outlook, because the Oilers haven't been able to do it with him there for a decade now, regardless of him on entry-level deal, making lower amount, and now making this higher amount that he's at.
He made the Cup final last year, so it's something. But,
finally, 9 years into his into his career, right? So that's just what I'm saying is, like, does he have responsibility to take the complete bag, change the game of hockey? Like, we're talking about Steph Curry just got $44 million a year as the best player in the NBA. Yeah, but the revenue is almost the same between the NBA and NHL. And yet McDavid's going to be making, like, we're talking about 14 compared to 44 million. Like, we're talking $30 million a year pay gap from our best player versus, and let's talk about McDavid being 28, and their best player, which I love, Steph Curry, been a Warriors fan for years. He's 35, 34, and he's going to be making 44 a year. Like, that's a big difference to me.
It is. It's I don't know. That's the difference with the other sports, though. Like, their TV deals, their sponsorship rights, like, their owners, like,
they just get a lot more viewership too. To be brutally honest.
Oh, it is. No, you're right. It's an easier sport to get it in. You need a ball, and there's community parks all over the place with hoops. You don't need much. You don't even need shoes. You can play barefoot.
Okay.
Right? Like,
so moving on from the basketball talk, I want to.
Basketball, in case you didn't notice.
I'm not a big fan. I go Duke, go Cooper Flag. That's all I gotta say. What about Brad Marchand? Because I don't think he's staying in Florida, but we know he's not going back to Boston from basically based off of what has all been said, right? That relationship seems to be completely tarnished from an organizational standpoint.
Who says he doesn't stay in Florida?
Nobody does. Nobody says that. He very well could, right? Like, he could take the 1.025 mil or take a $2 million 1 year deal, like something super minimum. But honestly, I think Dale like this. I want to see him go to Colorado, play with Mac.
Yeah, Dallas likes that more than Daeden does.
Yeah, but I thought about the East Coast.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking about too, and I'm thinking at 36, 37 years old that Brad's lived his whole life on the East Coast, and I don't think he's going to want to leave. I think he's going to want to either stay in Florida or stay on an East Coast team, maybe a Tampa, or maybe not East Coast, but an Eastern team, Toronto.
That Florida, no tax probably will help keep him there.
Not Tampa, Carolina. I meant.
That's not what you said.
No, that's what I meant, though.
Keep it. What about him going home to Montreal?
He's not home to Montreal. What?
Well, that was his team growing up.
But that was his team growing up, like, who he cheered for.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's too much
on the East Coast. He got 3 teams to cheer for.
He can't go there.
What if he goes to Pittsburgh?
That's
what if he goes to Calgary, Dakota?
No.
That's 3 time zones over.
Conroy's already said 26 and lower.
Except for Michael Backlund. Hold up. And Joel Hanley.
Okay, well, Hanley's gone this year, guaranteed.
Are you signing Rasmus Anderson?
Don't ask me these questions.
They have to. Even if they're going to move him, they have to sign him.
Why?
If you lose him for nothing, what does that do?
Yeah.
Like, does Conroy get axed?
We got next year to figure that out, boys. Relax.
He's got 1 more year left? I thought he's a free agent this year.
He's a free agent this year, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure he has this year.
Somebody do a quick Google
I'm pretty
search.
sure he's got this year, and then in the off season he can sign an extension. Because it's the same for Wolf. I forgot about
Maybe it is
this.
one more
that
year. Yeah, maybe it is one more year. But I thought people were panicking in Calgary.
I'm looking at him.
Maybe it
I'm
is.
pretty sure they got till next year to sign him.
I think you're right.
And Wolf too. I completely forgot about that. Wolf next year is eligible for his extension.
Oh, that Wolf is definitely a future Houston arrow, 100%.
Yeah, 2026 UFA. He's in year 5 of 6 right now.
So they can't. Yeah, so they can extend them if they want.
Yeah, they could extend him, which I guess that's good that they didn't rush into it with 2 years left.
Okay, wait. Back to Florida. What about Aaron Ekblad? Because we talked about this before, and I brought up my idea that I think he's gone now that they got Seth Jones and that whole ordeal is going on, and then obviously the steroid thing that's played a big role now. But I think Ekblad could end up in like Ottawa. I think that's kind of where I see him going.
I was just thinking Ottawa.
Yeah. I got Detroit.
Yeah, there you go. I think. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like
Detroit's too gross on D though.
Yeah, but that's what his job would be. He would lead Palika, Edvinson, in that group into a new.
But you just forgot about Jeff Petrie.
The great Jeff Petrie.
Now,
I'm sure Isaac is looking to off.
What if Ekblad goes to Vancouver?
Yeah, well, Dale Talon tried to get that first overall pick when that happened. Vancouver ownership has liked Ekblad ever since the 2012 draft? 2012?
He was
2014? What fucking draft was that?
He's our age.
Yeah, okay, it's 2014. Yeah. Maybe, but how does Vancouver? What does Vancouver do? They lose Besser. They lose.
They lose Besser, and they fill it already.
Yeah, we've already said they're going to lose Besser, so why not?
Yeah, no, I know. But do they need that defense? They're not going to.
They're going to lose Hughes. Fucking
they're not going to lose Quinn.
They're going to lose Quinn.
What about Sam Bennett?
Oof.
I had him going to Chicago.
No, he needs playoffs to be Sam Bennett. That's a good point.
But
at the same time, you're right, because this is the first time he's going to get like $8 million plus.
He's going to get money. Like that's what I mean. Like he could sign like a 6x5 or something like that, and like rake in some cash.
What if he goes to San Jose?
Yeah, San Jose could actually afford it, and that's a guy that would probably be a really good leadership guy for that team. Since that team has no leadership right now, since their captain has decided just not to fucking be around the team. So
I'd love to see him be brought back in Calgary, but
I wondered about that too.
But the way that they gave up on him, I feel like
I don't think it's happening, but I feel like San Jose would be a great pickup for him.
Yeah. You know who I honestly like is Seattle. Close to playoffs, needs a guy like him, has cap space. Because really, they're still trying to find their identity, and Sam Bennett is the guy you build your team.
They traded Brandon Tanev, which was basically a cereal box version of him, but still, it's not a bad one. Though. It's not a bad
Tanev that can score. So
I
think it's an upgrade.
So then, like a guy, Matthew Nyes, back to Toronto for a second. I know he told Johnny Lazarus of Daily Faceoff that he's gonna wait it out. Like he's an RFA, he's gonna explore his options. They're gonna test the free agency. So I think Nyes is a guy that could be offer sheeted very well.
Yeah, that sounds like he's willing to.
It sounds like he's willing to take that. So Toronto's not a lot
pressure on Toronto. That sounds like putting pressure on Toronto to step up their offer because they clearly haven't given him a good one.
Why?
Imagine they lose Nyes and Marner.
And Tavares.
And Tavares. That's very well what it is likely to happen here, though. And the weird thing is, though, there's a weird part of me that feels like they might get Marner back somehow, but I don't know how.
He'd have to go super team friendly, like they could afford it
without paying Tavares. They could afford something low, but like maybe Marner decides on like a 4-year deal just to like stick around for a few more years.
But it's next year that Matthews jumps from what is he 7 7.78 to 14.
Mhm.
So that's 3/4 of Tavares' salary right there.
That's Tavares' contract for sure.
Yeah,
actually,
that's basically going to be what Tavares would make. And Marner's going to want 11. We know he's asking for 11. I don't think he deserves it. I think he's like a $9 million guy at most. But
I mean,
he's
he
asking
might
11.
he might even get Rantanen numbers.
Yeah. Well,
Tavares?
No, Marner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he could. He could.
Well, really, Rantanen was the third pony on his own team, and so is Marner, and Rantanen just got like almost 13.
Yeah,
Who's
right?
the wow?
And
The
they're
kid in
only-
the car, Rantanen, when he was in Colorado.
They're only 2 years apart in age, or no, a year apart.
Yeah, Rantanen's 1 year older.
Rantanen's our age, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right, he's a
Marner's
96.
a year younger.
2 years, I guess. 2016 draft. I don't know what year he was born. If he's a 97 or a 98, I don't know.
I think
pretty
it's
sure.
97 he was born, wasn't it?
Okay, so he's a late 97.
I don't know though.
Yeah, makes sense.
I can't remember.
But I guess he would have been 2016. No, you're right.
Yeah, it was because it was Kachuk's draft. Yeah,
It was Kachuk's draft. Yeah.
Because Matthews was 15, and Matthews was 16.
Yeah, Matthews was
And
16.
yeah, Matthew Kachuk, 2016.
No, Matthews, Austin.
Oh yeah, the same. Were they the same year? No, maybe they weren't. I guess.
So Marner would be 2017. No,
Nope.
No,
2015.
2015. It has to be 2015 then.
there's no way Toronto had two top tens.
Oh yeah.
How
Toronto-
did they? What was the other top 10 in 2015?
I'm
no
looking it up.
shot. No
I'm
shot.
looking it
They
What
got
would have been the
Marner.
other top 10?
No shot. Matthews and Marner was same draft. No shot.
No, Matthews was
No.
2016.
2015 NHL draft, Mitch Marner,
Okay. Wait. You said 2015?
2015.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Matthews.
Oh
was
yeah, we're
2015.
keeping this. We're keeping this. This is good.
absolutely. I want to go back to Vancouver though, because I think Brock Nelson, that team
Oh,
is
God.
no, but let's just talk about them from like their leadership standpoint has been in shambles. Yes, they have Hughes,
Yeah.
but they got rid of Horvat. They had the mess with Miller. They have Pedersen, who needs any kind of help. He needs his mom to move in with him, apparently, right? Like Hughes is clearly struggling to lead this team, and you just need a guy to throw an A on his chest who can help take the brunt of this crap, right? Like
Yeah.
it's same thing as Tavares with Keller. This is something that Vancouver needs. He's going to get like $5 million. He's on the back half of his career, right? Like maybe he'll get 6, but he's not going to get 7, Nelson, right? Like he shouldn't get 7 because he's what, 35, 36?
He's like 33, but yeah.
Oh, okay, so he's not okay. That's not that bad, but it's okay. So he could get like 7 mil at most, I think. But that's something. If they lose Besser, right? They've lost Miller. They need a scoring centerman or winger because he can play both to come in, but have some leadership quality because their team is just. They were a playoff team until this JT Miller stuff hit, and they could not navigate through it. It was not just on the leadership; it was on the coaching, the management, the ownership. It was all the way up, but. It starts in the dressing room, and Quinn Hughes was not ready to handle this alone without a veteran. So I think that he just needs – because Connor Garland obviously wasn't helping. Connor Garland was a spitfire in his own right? So he has Garland from one side. He's got Miller going on, right? Garland asked for a trade last year. Like the team is just a mess. So I think that he needs a guy like Brock Nelson to come in there and just solidify things.
Fellow American.
Fellow American.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. It's not bad.
I don't
We
think
need the
Brock
better-
Nelson's going to Vancouver though, unless they give him money.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to get at. I don't think the American goes to Vancouver, but if they give him the right amount of money, man, he might.
My thing is who was all going to be in on Nelson. There's a lot
Minnesota.
of younger, better players that are going to get a lot of money, and I think Nelson's going to be waiting for the first wave to end.
Unless he just re-signs with
And-
Colorado.
How? They have no money.
Couldn't tell you.
They have no money unless he
They
takes
just
a team
put-
friendly deal.
Unless they put Landeskog on the shelf for life, I don't know.
Yeah, like if Landeskog comes back, they lose like 4 players. They'll have to trade Ross Colton. They'll have to let Nelson walk. They'll have to let Lindgren walk.
That's why Landeskog's not going to play till the playoffs.
Yeah, but then next year his cap hit goes hello.
That's a next year problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, what about Ryan Lindgren? Because Colorado loves him. So I don't know if I know we just talked about how the hell they're going to afford people, but I think they want to bring him back.
I'm so torn because just the last year or two, his reputation has been, I feel like, torn down way more than it needs to. Go to the 2020 to 2022 playoffs that the New York Rangers had. He was their best defender. 100%. He ended up wearing a bubble every playoffs because he broke something in his face and came back. Every single year, he was just a warrior. Like I wanted him in Tampa so bad. I was like, I don't care if we do have to give up Isaac Howard for a rental. You go out and get a guy like Ryan Lindgren. Like that's the kind of quality of defender that he is in the playoffs. Like I wanted him. So the thing is, what's his value? Is it $7 million like it could be, right? Ryan McDonough type money, 6.75, or is it the way that the NHL fan bases and stuff have talked about in the last 2 years, and it's like 4.5? I don't know where he's at
right now. I would put him at a 4.5, closer to the 6-7, because he just hasn't put up the offensive numbers. Yes, he's a great defensive defenseman, but he's no two-way guy. He doesn't have that explosiveness. He doesn't have that ability to walk the line like a Hughes or a Makar. And he really is just that like stay-at-home guy.
I'm just looking.
And you know what? You know who likes stay-at-home defensemen? Vancouver. Or at least they did with Tanev.
It's true. So because he makes $4 million right now, or has a cap at a 4.5. So he probably sees that go to 6. So,
like, I just want to compare. Like
I'd sign him 6 by 6, but
McDonough makes 6.75. The last 5 years or 4 years, he's put up 26, 20, 32, and 28 points. Whereas Lindgren has put up, those are games played, 18, 17, 19. Oh, no, sorry, that's combined years. So 15, 18, 17, and 22 this year because it split the year between New York and Colorado. So he's in the late teens to 20s most of the time. Whereas, McDonough's mid 20s to 30s, but they do a lot of the same thing, block a lot of shots.
So AFP Analytics has Ryan Lindgren's cap projected for next contract going down to 3.7. So they have it projected that he's going to sign a 3-year, $11 million contract. 3.7.
This is a guy who played top minutes with Adam Fox as the defensive anchor. I'm struggling to see where the negativity. Again, this is what happens when you play like the Rangers have not got better since trading him, so clearly them blaming him for all their problems, he was not their problem.
Yeah, it's true though. They got Ekblad listed at down as well at 6.8 for 7 years.
In open market, I think he gets 8. I think Ekblad gets 8 on open market.
Who's the other guy I want to see? I want to see Mitch Marner. What they have Marner projected for? Mitch Marner. 12.57 for 8. That's what they're projecting it.
Yeah, so Mikko Rantanen money.
So
he was 12.75 versus 12.57.
Yeah. The only other, I mean, it makes sense.
What do you think about Duchesne? Signed that $3 million team-friendly deal and has been nothing but stellar for the Dallas Stars. Do you think he likes Dallas so much that he does it again? Or do you think he says, you know what? I got bought out, was told I wasn't good. Now I'm dominant. Do I go for the $8 million again?
He probably won't get 8, but he could probably get like 6.5 or 7 at his age. Like
I
he's
think his
34.
future just depends on if they get a cup or not. If they don't get a cup, well then does he even stay in Dallas?
Yeah.
No, probably not.
I don't know if his home is in Dallas or because he's been shipped around for the last number of years. So
his home was in Nashville for what he talked about.
And Rantanen signing there pushed him out the door to me completely. Like there's not even a chance. They just say, hey, thanks for being here. Like, sorry, but the cap's too tight. We can't bring you back.
Yeah.
I don't even think they ask him. They don't even ask what he wants. They're just like, we can't even give you the $3 million you're making now.
That makes sense. And
then I got Gavrikov in LA too. Defender. Vladislav Gavrikov.
His contract's up? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, for LA.
He probably makes the similar amount of money. He's pretty steady. Pay him 5.5 or pay him something like that. Under 5. Or not.
LA
under 5,
loves
sorry,
him, but
6.
I don't know if he stays. Has he seen enough out of LA to be convinced to like stay there with, the last couple of years of his prime?
Probably not.
Because where was he? Columbus, right? Columbus traded him to LA. Yeah.
So AFP
but I know
Analytics has. You don't like him?
No, I know they like him. LA.
Oh,
LA likes Gavrikov. Yeah.
They do. AFP Analytics has Nye set up for 2 contracts. So for his long-term one, it's 6 years at 6.2, and his short-term one is 3.9 for 2 years.
Jeez, I don't even know if he signs 2. That's asking a lot of him. I think that he's showing he's one of their best players.
6 times 6 seems fair for him, but
yeah. If Lafreniere is getting 7x7, like Nyes, I don't want to. I don't know. Nyes he's a good competitor. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I think so too. One player we didn't talk about was Marco Rossi. Does he stick around in Minnesota? I think he does. I don't know.
So Parise and Suter's buyouts come off the cap this year.
So that's good.
22 mil in dead cap becomes open to them. And that's why I think, Rossi stays. That's why I think they shell out for Besser. That's why I think they shell out for defender. It might not even be Pionk. It could be Ekblad. It could be Gavrikov, right? Like, it could be one of these top defenders that are out there. Maybe they trade for a top defender. I don't know. Maybe they do move Kaprizov for, like, a top-tier defender and then another roster player. Who knows? Because
I don't think Minnesota gets rid of Kaprizov.
No, they'll.
There were those talks earlier in the year that they had.
No, there was talks that the owner. There was no way they were losing Kaprizov. Whatever somebody offers, they're matching it. If it ever came down to that,
fair. I think
they value him too much.
He's going to see too much money before he leaves Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota, they value him way too much to let him walk away. He is their Connor McDavid. So
yeah, dude, 97 and 97.
Haha. Okay. One more before this recording gets too long for people. So they've got Connor Zary listed for 2 contracts, a 6-year, $5.8 million deal, or a 2-year, $3.4 million deal. What one are you taking?
Oh, 5.8.
I'm taking the longer term, and you know what? I'm still saying Calgary.
Yeah. It's an extension with Calgary, is what they have it projected to be. So
because a team that has nearly 30 million cap and Zary being one of their better players to watch and probably one of their only confident players to take the puck into the offensive zone himself.
Yep.
You don't just throw that away.
So 5.5 for 6 years is a fucking steal.
Yeah. He's going to be worth 8 by the time that's up.
Yeah.
If they keep him a top 6 forward, no doubt in my mind he'll amount to that much money, I guess.
Or they could just keep him the best fourth liner in the league like they have been.
No, because he loses ice time and he
Okay.
doesn't get as many points.
Yeah.
So I said no, I said Brad was going to get less money. Yeah, he's going to get less, but not much. 7.79 is what they have it projected for. Damn.
Yeah. And I think because it's not Boston, I think he just says, who wants me? I don't think obviously he's going to care a little bit about optics. Like, yeah, he's not going to want to go to Anaheim, not going to want to go to San Jose, stuff like that. Right.
Holy
even Chicago.
Christ.
But if the winning teams, if there's 5 teams that are, playoff teams and they're all bidding for him, he's just going to be like, oh, up the money.
So do you think one more?
Although
I
still think Boston's on the table. Sorry.
Yeah. One more though.
I do.
We didn't talk about this player, and I wanted to. Luke Hughes. So they have it set 7 years, 8.86.
Stays.
62 million extension with New Jersey. I feel like they're giving a lot of money to him right away, though.
He gets a bridge.
Because the other offer is 2 years, 5.1.
I could see them signing him a little bit shorter term, just to see more of his game.
More of him.
Yeah.
If we were talking about Lane Hudson, different story. But
Lane Hudson's unbelievable.
Lane Hudson's better than Luke Hughes. So
he put up 47 points last year, which is, just over a half a point per game. Respectable. Right. And he's at 41 in 66 games this year. So he's not underperforming, right? But a lot of it's assists. He's got 34 assists this year, 38 last year. He doesn't have 10 goals in a season yet. How many goals does Hudson have? Do you know, Daeden?
I don't know, but I do know that Lane Hudson can't play defense to save his life, so.
That doesn't matter when he's scoring the way he does on that team.
Okay, that can be a clip.
Well, this current Montreal version with him as a rookie, they don't need him to.
He doesn't need to play.
No, they don't. They don't.
He's got 5 goals, 54 assists, and 59 points. So he's almost got 20 more assists than.
So you know what Hudson needs? He needs a guy like Lindgren on his line.
Yeah, he needs a Chris Tanev, man. That's what he needs.
As far as Hughes goes, I see 5 being the max, and I see 3 being the least amount of years. Yeah. I don't see them giving him.
If they sign him to the long-term one, I feel like that's taking a gamble. But what do I know?
Oh, definitely. You'd be better off really, really overpaying in a trade to get Quinn than you would be paying him that guarantee of money for an unguaranteed product. He's a great player, but I would rather give up Nemec and a first and Dawson Mercer and something else for Quinn Hughes, and saying losing that trade in terms of multiple assets for one player, but you get Quinn Hughes, what you're getting there versus Luke Hughes making $2 million less than Quinn. That doesn't compute to me because Quinn's at what? Yeah, 9. He's at 9.5.
Yeah,
and Luke would be at 7.75. Is that what you said? 7.75.
No, 6.6. It was 6 something.
Oh, 6.75. So basically $7 million. So yeah, it'd be $2 million gap between the best defenseman, top 3 defensemen
also,
in the
Quinn
NHL.
Makes $7.8 million a year, just for the record.
Oh, he can't make that much. That's so he's got to take his bridge deal. He's got to take his bridge deal just like Quinn did, because you can't overpay. Not yet.
And if you do, you're literally just doing it for the name.
Yeah. I would give him 2 years at 5.
They did
2 at 5.
Yeah.
If he
that's what it was projected. 2 years at 5.5. So
Oh, sorry. Okay,
do that.
well, yeah, give him
No, that's fine. But do that, and
Yeah.
that gives you that extra 2-year window to see what he does, right? Like, look at Buffalo's situation with Matthias Samuelsson, for Christ's sake. Like, they're in year 3 of that atrocious contract right now, and they're like, oh, what? Like, don't get me wrong, Samuelsson does what he needs to do, to an extent, I guess. Like, I'm sure there's some Sabres fans that'll defend him, but like, what the fuck? They gave him so much money, $50 million off his, like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
That's what Buffalo does. Look at Rasmus Ristolainen. They had to dump his contract to Philly.
They gave Power the bag too, didn't they? So
Yeah, Dahlin's got the bag. Power got the bag. Byram is getting a decent contract from Colorado.
yeah, 7 years, $58 million for Power. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
anyways,
yeah. I would say that's probably where we can wrap it on up, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Episode 54. We just want to say thank you to everyone who watched. It's a lot of fun giving these hypotheticals, so I hope everyone liked it. Leave some comments, though. Let us know if we were way off base, if we were right on point. Were we crazy? Were we accurate? Let us know. We want to hear from everyone out there. I want to say thanks again for watching. Again, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social medias. And watch episode 53 if you can as well. That would be awesome. And we'll see everyone in episode 55 of the Gameday Tarps podcast.
Angel on the track.